My people, what up, though? We back with another episode of All Black Men Need Therapy. My name is Chief.
And I'm Bell.
My name is Prentice.
And I'm Butta.
And we back getting the show on the road. It's good to see you boys, man. Bell, just get you a Scully, man. I don't know why you keep breaking the mold, bro. Like,
you know what's so funny is I need a haircut like real bad. And I was going to throw a hat on. And then I worked out, so I got in the shower. I just threw some water in my hair. I'm like, you know what? It don't look that bad on camera. I'm gonna just rock out.
No,
but my plan was to wear a hat until let that water hit that thing. You know,
I was gonna say, I don't think there's a lot of black berries. I don't think there's a lot of black men who could say they could just throw some water on their shit and it'd be ready to go.
Oh, my shit ain't ready to go. It's just ready to go in this 3x6 square that I'm in. like it's perfect for that.
No doubt. Put some water on that damn shit.
Oh, this is just juices and berries. Where we at, fellas? Let's get it in. Butta, man, check in. B, how you live? How you be? How you feeling? Talk to us.
Man, I feel really good. I had the pleasure of being with one of my mentors. Her name is Sylvia High naturally. And it's cool to be with the person. So the work that I've been doing, I've been in for about 20 years now. And she's the person that trained me. And so it was cool to go into a space with her and support her as a trainer and be the student again. So that part was cool. I got some great lessons, got some great information. I slept yesterday until about 1:45. That's how intense the training was. So yeah, I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling rejuvenated. I can't wait to see you brothers. Our last conversation had me go through my entire financial stuff and put it in my calendar. And I'm working on some other financial stuff. So thank y'all. I love y'all. I love you. I love you. I love you. I mean it.
Love you too,
love you
bro.
back, man.
That's what's up. Love you back for sure.
For sure. Bellhead, why don't you go ahead, man? Check in, B. How you live? How you be? How you feeling?
I'm good, man. Honestly, no complaints. I stopped drinking just for a few weeks, but I think my last time drinking was January. I guess technically January 4th. I was at a bar with Oss, and then I said, you know what? I'm going to Mexico at the end of the month. Let me just slow down until then. And then last week I decided to cut sugar out for the same reason. But that's been good. So that's going well. Been in the gym. Running, could be running a little bit more, but running. What else? That's really it. Yeah, man, that's really it. Everything's cool.
No doubt. P, where we at, B? Check in.
Naya had her first volleyball tournament last weekend, man. That shit was hella cool. I'ma really like it, man. So Justice, when he started football, when I put him in football, I had to chill because the coaches told me I had to chill. Because obviously that was like my first year getting custody of him. I got him in sports, and it was like I was just over the moon. You remember you came to a game. I was over the moon. Like I was just hype, always yelling on the field. I'm charged up, and it was like, yo, let us coach him. I was like, my bad, my bad. To hear he's too cool at his basketball games. So he just has this stank ass attitude at his games that I don't like. But I'm trying to let you know I gotta understand because Sarai had to point it out to me that sometimes before a show I could be a little standoffish or abrasive. It's like a mode I get into. So I had to realize, okay, this is probably his mode. So he's not very responsive to feedback or criticism, constructive criticism from me. But Anaya listens and she will tap in with me while she's on the volleyball court and she doesn't mind the cheering. And because it's a volleyball club and there's more money involved, all the parents are really invested You know what I mean? So I don't seem like that overhyped parent because all of us are hyped. Everybody's standing up and high fiving before the game, the kids, and after the game. There was over at least 60 teams there. She did really good, man. She's gonna be good at volleyball, like really good. And it was obvious. So that was dope too, because not to say anything against the boys, but I mean they all right, like they cool. You know what I mean? But Anaya's like good, like good, good. So I'm like, damn, I may have one with her. You know, so I had a lot of fun, man. We were in Sacramento. It was a 3-day tournament. We drove an hour and a half one way each day. Had to be there 7 in the morning. Um, First day I showed up, I realized that all the volleyball moms they be having Stanleys and alcohol in their cups. So the next day I pulled up with my Stanley and my drink in my cup so I could assimilate. You know, so I'm just learning the club parent culture, man. It was real fun. So I had a good time, man. Like I really enjoyed it. I like the game of volleyball. I'm learning it. She's good. The team is good. So yeah, we're gonna have a good time, man. I had a good weekend.
That's
That's what's
what's
up.
up.
It's definitely what's up. For me, all is well. I had my shorties in the gym the other day. My baby hit his first shot on a 10-footer. He was dumb hype about it. You know what I'm saying? Because he'd been struggling trying to get it
Storm?
up there. Yeah, Storm threw it up there and got it up in there. You know what I'm saying? So that was kind of cool.
Bro, you got
Uh,
to bring them to the vineyard, man, and bring them to the camp in the summer
yeah. Yeah. And I thought,
because
why am I'm always doing something at that time though? I felt like,
you don't make it a priority. We've been going since 2012,
yeah, I know.
and you've been 3 times max.
Yeah. Anywho. Yeah, Shorty is it's been a good couple of days. A lot on my plate right now, but I'm managing through. I'm actually gonna sit down and map some stuff out when we get off this recording and just really, plan. I've been really good at like following the plan lately, so I'm gonna put it together. Got some stuff in line. A lot of stuff going on right now in the middle of everything. Made some more strides with that piece. I think I offered it to my team tonight. We got a competition in New Mexico next month, and
Never been in New Mexico.
and we're gonna do it as a group piece.
Just
So
the hug one.
the handshake one, yeah.
Yeah, what you? Yeah. Same.
Yeah. So it's coming out. It's coming out pretty cool.
Did we hear that one? I don't. Did we hear it?
No,
Or
I
you
haven't
just
really
put the
finished it yet.
title?
I mean, it's 90% done, but I still want to. I got to give it a little more. You know what I'm saying? A little more, bring a little more juice to it. But other than that, man, good, man. Like I said, I got a lot on my plate, and I'm being intentional about being intentional. So my plan is after this to really sit down and just pick some bullet points and check my list off and get some things going. So all in all, everything's good.
Are you
So
adding to that
huh?
list?
I'm sorry,
What?
I didn't hear what you said.
I'm sorry. What?
Anybody hear what you said?
I didn't hear what you said either. But
Oh, he said, "Are you adding
he
the
said,
camp to that list?"
That's in July. Nevertheless,
but listen to Butter's point. Hey, you gonna want to start planning, like, cause figuring out where you're gonna stay and all of that, cause that stuff. And obviously, if you want to stay with us, we can make arrangements. But that shit fills up quick, so he ain't wrong.
nah, touche. What we talking about today, fellas?
So, did everybody do their check-ins? Did Butter do his?
Yeah.
Okay, my bad. So we're gonna play a clip in a second, but I had heard this my mindless scrolling on Instagram, which I need to limit. I feel like I'm getting out of hand a little bit. Like once you start scrolling Instagram when you on calls, I feel like that's the line. Like I'm like, all right, I gotta chill out. So I'm gonna see what that looks like for me tomorrow. What I usually do when I feel like I get out of hand is I put a timer on my phone and in like 20 or 30-minute blocks, whatever, and I can't touch my phone for that time. So I might go back to that. But anyway, mindless scrolling on Instagram, I came across this Michelle Obama clip, and we're gonna play it in a second, but if I'm being honest, I've been wrestling with this topic for a few weeks now because I wrote this a while ago. So after listening to it, it kind of evoked some different emotions. So I wrote my thoughts down and I wanted to bring it to the group. So Chief, if you don't mind, just play the clip real quick so our audience knows what I'm talking about.
Don't you got access? Did you? You was like, yeah, I got carte blanche. Can you hit it? Let me see.
Don't make me mute you, bro. All right, I ain't got time.
No, I got you. Here we go.
Before us, cared about whether their kids were happy, let alone being responsible for your happiness, or that you should be happy all the time. It feels like that's a new phenomenon, right? I mean, we just think of all the work that we do to keep our kids busy and, engaged, and we sign them up for this and sign them up for that. And, we're taking them here and we're taking them there instead of just going, well, maybe you're going to be bored. Feel responsible for our kids' happiness and success, right? So we put a lot of pressure on making sure they achieve, like making sure they don't fail, making sure they don't feel bad or they don't experience disappointments. So a lot of that emotional energy we're taking on is, in my view, it's misdirected. And it takes a lot of energy if you think that you're responsible for your kids' happiness, right?
Wow.
And it's a whole lot of energy if you think your kid should always be happy. I mean, that's a current parenting generational angst. No generations.
So this spoke to me on a bunch of different levels because like when the fellas saw the treatment, they were like, what's pay to play about? Because that was the original title I had for this treatment, because she touched on a lot of things, but I decided to go in a different direction. But the pay to play was more about, which we're going to do that topic another time, but more about how much we invest into our kids. But it at the crux of all of that is like, are we the one? Do we feel we're responsible for our kids' happiness? So just a couple things just to set this up, and then I'm gonna turn it over to you guys. But full transparency, I have an adult daughter and a 5-year-old son, right? So this hit me because I just thought about how it was when we grew up. And in my household, I feel, whether this is accurate, and I feel like my parents couldn't care less if I was happy, as long as I was protected and fed. You know what I'm saying? Like happiness was a nice to have. You know what I'm saying? So it was just, we can get into it, but there's so many differences. Like one thing I wrote down, there's so many differences that can be linked to making sure our kids are happy. And one that I wrote down was when we were growing up, we had layaway, right? So it's like, I remember I always got my winter coats in the summertime because she would put them on layaway when it was cold out, and I would get it in the summer for the next winter. And I was happy with that. But now it's like you got get now and pay later. You see what I'm saying? Whereas before it's like you pay down and then you get it when you're done. Now we can get so much stuff that we don't even have to pay for. You can get the Klarma or whatever that company is, payments of $17.75 every 4 weeks or whatever it is, or for a month. And I was just thinking about that. I'm like, a lot of that is geared towards appeasing our child, you know? So, and it may be putting us in a bad spot, right? At least with layaway, if you didn't have it, you didn't have it. You know what I'm saying? Like you couldn't charge it. Like my parents didn't have credit cards growing up. So like I remember paying for field trips with money orders. So damn credit cards, we didn't even have checks. You know what I'm saying? So it was just a different way of growing up. Not saying one is right or wrong, but anyway, I have a lot of thoughts about that. I have a ton of questions, but before we even get into that, what did you guys take away from the video?
Something that stood out to me was she said making sure they don't feel disappointment. And I'm not sure I necessarily follow that narrative just because I feel like there's a lot of lessons within that disappointment. And more often than not, in when I could think of moments of disappointment, it's not something that I brought about. It's perhaps a disappointment that they have within something that they did. And this is just and it's about teaching a lesson within that disappointment, and more so how to respond to disappointment. So I don't think that, I spend a lot of time trying to prevent them from being disappointed. I think that's just natural part of life. And, if we can teach kids how to overcome the adversity we weren't taught how to overcome, it just helps prepare them for life. So I think that disappointment is all a big lesson, and I'm not really I'm not really gun ho about keeping them from being disappointed.
So it's interesting what you just said. Teaching them how to overcome the adversity that we weren't taught to overcome. And I think we were taught to overcome adversity, but I think the teaching was in the lesson.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
In a sense. But okay, so more so having conversations about it now. Because there weren't many conversations about it. It was this happened and that's what you get. Or you know what I'm saying? That was the conversation.
Yeah.
That's what you get.
But and not to nitpick everything you just said, but I think your response is kind of what Michelle Obama was talking about. Like you said, you don't do anything to disappoint them. Their disappointment comes when they something in their life and you just talk them through overcoming it. And I think that's the biggest difference. Our parents didn't care if they disappointed us. You know what I'm saying? Like that wasn't a conscious thought. Let me do this so I don't disappoint them. It was like, this is out of necessity. They're going to deal with this and learn how to overcome it. And they didn't have those words maybe, but they were like, this is what it is. And there's nothing I'm going to do different about it. Whereas, and I'm not saying we're wrong because I'm the same way, but we are to Michelle's point. It's like, do we take on that responsibility subconsciously for their happiness?
I hear what you're saying, and I can see like both ends of the spectrum, but I think there's been plenty of time where like I don't give a damn how you feeling right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you go ahead, you just gonna have to be mad and figure it out. So there's some give and take in there. I think.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I could see moments where I've played both ends of the spectrum, but it wasn't. I don't think it was out of. So is it different if I say it was more so to? Yeah, I guess so. You're right. Because I'm looking at it now. It's like you do something and it's designed to kind of make your kid happy, but it isn't with the. Doesn't come with the. I don't want them to be disappointed. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but you want them to be. But you feel responsible for their happiness. Like no one said anything about disappointment.
Oh, she did in her things. What she said.
But it's the fact that we feel like we're responsible for our kids' happiness. That's different than saying I don't want to disappoint them.
Right. So that's what I'm trying to say. Like, so if they wanted XYZ, and I would get XYZ, knowing that I had the means to do it or whatever, and it made them happy, it would do it. But if I couldn't do it, it wouldn't be like, oh, I'm doing it because I don't want them disappointed. You know what I'm saying? Is that making sense? Like I'm not like doing it because I don't want them to be disappointed.
Well, before we keep going back and forth, Butta, Prentice, what are your thoughts on the video?
Mine is layered, man. I've been listening and thinking this whole time. Well, I would argue that if at all you are responsible for your child's happiness, it's up until a certain point. That's what I would argue. I would argue that if at all, at the stage Shy is at right now, about to be 5 in April, I feel like it is mostly my responsibility to put her in positions to where she can experience happiness. Let's put it like that, right? Like
Yeah, yeah.
it may not always make her happy. She did her first soccer practice yesterday and had a ball, but when we were leaving, they had fucking vending machines in this fucking athletic warehouse, and she couldn't get something out of there, and it was a fucking wrap. She cried for 30 minutes all the way home and hated soccer until she got over it, and she loved it. She was happy for a moment, but then she couldn't get the doll, and all hope was lost.
Mm.
Um, then I fast forward and I think about the older ones. I've spent so much time trying to make them happy by acquiring items, getting them certain things I think they'd like, and they got it, and it didn't make them happy, and I felt like it was a disappointment. Then I fast forward to think about Justice, fought for 11 years, got full custody, put him in a great situation. He never really wanted to be here. He wanted to
Mm.
be with his mom. So no matter what I did, the $600 bike, the Jordans, the clothes, the circumstances, he wasn't happy here. And his behavior reflected that. And so that made me think to myself as a parent that no, I'm not responsible for their happiness. And then I go to my relationships. This is the first relationship where it made me realize that I'm responsible for my own happiness. And my problem in my relationships has been that I thought that the woman was responsible for my happiness. And no, that's not true. So I say all that. I know it's long winded, but I say all that to say I overall I would say no, you're not responsible for your child's happiness. I think you want to put them in environments to where they can experience it, but just because they're in that environment, it doesn't mean it's gonna happen. And it doesn't matter how much you fucking do. When they're unhappy, they're unhappy.
Touche.
That's all I got for. I mean, it's not all I got, but I'll stop
Yeah,
there.
the initial thought.
Yeah.
Butter.
Um, this is a funny conversation for me since I have no child. But I think once we understand that happiness only occurs when something is happening, right? But joy is a different conversation. I also think the conversations that you're having with your children before things are coming to them makes the difference in how much their happiness is on layaway when it comes to the
Mm.
Can you
right.
elaborate on that?
But I mean, what I'm hearing on some level, the happiness can be put on layaway if we're only looking at it through the lens of give, 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 right? Because children, the world revolves around them, so they're naturally takers. Give me, give me, give me, right? It's not until we introduce conversations like you get to share, or you can't have that right now. And we also live in a different time. Like kids have timeouts and they can do deep breathing, right? I remember my timeouts only occurred either before or after they were sure I didn't have a concussion. Because somebody then knocked me out because I didn't say
Mhm,
something slick and like,
mhm.
he all right. And I'm on the floor trying to gain consciousness, right? Now you can sit in the chair and face the wall. You
Yeah.
can, there's songs about your feelings. Nobody asked me how I felt as a kid. So I think this conversation, I think this new age kind of parent, in my opinion, what I've seen is that sometimes parents work to be friends and miss the conversation um, of rearing, or it gets confusing, and then terrible twos become horrible 12s, and horrible 12s become we're gonna stand in front of this judge and figure it out at 22, as opposed to languaging, but like even the way you all are talking, right? You all have so much love in the conversation. I think that's the biggest piece because you love your children. I don't think you're responsible for their happiness because I think to Prentice's point, he had a crash course in nature versus nurture, right? And sometimes in our nature is some contrary to how we were nurtured,
Right.
right? I didn't have a lot of stuff, but I watched my parents give themselves a lot of stuff, so I give myself a lot of stuff, but they didn't taught me how to give gifts, right? So sometimes it's tough to be like, oh, I should go get them a gift. I'd be like, wow, well, don't nobody give me a gift, so you don't need a gift from me. Cool. But I think that happiness comes from them. And if we don't address it now, they'll constantly be looking for happiness from other folk. And I'm
So
with her on the board, be bored.
Mm.
what you said something, and it's a good segue to the next question. So my thought, obviously, I will say, I would argue that if nothing else, at this stage in our lives, whether income was a factor or not, I would say one thing that we have done better or more evolved than our parents in one area is emotional intelligence. Like
Mhm.
I would argue that that's head and shoulders above where our parents were for a host of reasons. But let's just park at we have more emotional intelligence than our parents. And some of us, depending our situations growing up, may have more means or may not have more means. But my question is, um, were you happy as a kid?
No, absolutely not. And there was no, there were happy moments, but you asked me if I was a happy kid. I wasn't.
Right. Okay.
People looking in would see something very different. What I learned to do early was perform
Mm,
to make sure the people around me weren't upset. And I guess that's the equivalent to, um, are you doing it for your children's happiness or to not disappoint them? Because there may
right.
be where you're accessing, oh, I want to do this for you because I don't want you disappointed, or I'm doing this so that you can have. Like, do you ever go, oh, I'm gonna do this for you because it makes you happy? Whoever says that out loud. Most
Right.
of us are doing stuff because we love the person. But if you
And
go
and
ahead,
it's recess. Um, this isn't probably a real term, but like reverse trauma. It was like, well, I know if this was done for me, I would have been really happy. So I'm gonna do this for them. You know,
Mhm.
so what you just
regardless
shared,
of what they ask.
yeah, they call that a trauma response.
Right.
It would
Right.
absolutely be a trauma response. It would absolutely be, um, I'm single because of my childhood trauma.
Mm,
Very clear about it, right? When I gauge my nieces and nephews, I don't know that I'm gauging. I'm the uncle that don't give gifts, but I'm the favorite uncle.
says
You
a
get
lot. Yeah.
well, because I'm gonna show up, I'm gonna have real conversation, I'm gonna listen, but I'm also treating them the way I want it to be treated. And my aunties and uncles didn't call me.
Mm,
My aunties and uncles didn't check on me,
Mhm.
right? Because they couldn't delineate between adult stuff and children stuff. So you got
oh man, what a time. What a
well,
time.
got all in the mug. And so when you think about creating a happiness for your child, I think loving. I think parents only owe children one thing, and that's education. I think everything else is extra credit.
Even love.
I think I think love. I think being willing to educate your child is a form of love.
Okay.
I
True.
believe.
Yeah,
I
true,
believe
true.
that. But some of us, we will leave our children ignorant so that they can be codependent, or we'll
Mm,
tell them, "Don't go far for school because," but you don't even have your associate's degree.
yeah. It's because of you. That's why you
Yeah.
don't want them to
And
go
I
far.
think that
Yeah.
happiness conversation is tied to what you just said. It's a response. It's a
Mm,
trigger. And I think it's too much pressure on parents.
Mhm.
I think that's entirely too much pressure. You also get to teach creativity.
Mhm.
right.
The worst mistake we made was moving from Head Start.
I am
What
so
about you
listening.
boys? Were you guys happy as kids?
I'm gonna get there in a second. And listening to you talk, but what I heard was that the Denzel scene from Fences,
Mm-hmm.
where he talks about you know the
Liking you.
liking you, yeah, like it is my duty. You know what I'm saying? But couple things. I don't know if I can put happiness on it. I don't think I thought about my happiness as a child. What I can say is, even with the amount of trauma that came with it in negative instances, I remember fun. I'm from a very big family. So I had a lot of cousins. All my cousins growing up the same time. We spent a lot of time just in the projects, running around, having fun. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if that equates to, like, I can't sit back and go, was I happy? Yeah, I mean, having fun with my cousins, running around, having a good time was fun, and fun translate towards happiness. But to your point earlier, Bill, you said something about, we do have an emotional intelligence beyond what our parents had at that time. And I think with that emotional intelligence comes a nature to just care about how our kids feel. You know what I'm saying? So in the same breath, like as much as we, and I'm certain all of us will be like, if you don't go sit your ass down somewhere, go ahead and cry it out. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
But I think with that emotional intelligence and being, it comes with just caring about how our kids feel and paying attention to how our kids feel. Because it was one of them, you know what I mean? Like we already know that it wasn't like they didn't care about how we felt, but it was survival.
Yeah, and that's what I was talking about with the lessons. You know, like through survival, you learned a lot. You know, that fortunately or unfortunately, my kids will never learn.
Right. So that's why I think I place a lot of emphasis on just the conversations when the disappointment happens, when the bad things happen, when the adversity shows up. Like we were just dealing with it and processing through it on our own. But now we're able to have a conversation about it. So if this event happens again, look how you responded this time. Let's be different next time. Or you handled it well this time. Carry that on to when it shows up again.
Yeah. I mean, that's the EQ stepping in. You know what I mean? Like we talked about, where our parents may or may not have had the ability or maybe didn't care to have that conversation with us, where we're afforded the opportunity to.
And what do you quantify as happy? Like when you think of a child individually, like when you think about your son, Chris, because children will language, I'm so happy. When has your son, like you knew he was in a space where he was like, yo, this is it. And absolutely nothing like that you would label as special was going on. He was just in bliss.
So to answer your first question, what do I label as happy? When I ask that question, that's whatever the person responding, however they quantify that. But in terms of my son, he's 5, so he will tell you, right? Like his new favorite word is sick. Dude, this is sick, or bro, this is sick, you know, and it could be something so simple, like me just showing him like how a figurine can move and he didn't know it had all the features or something silly like that. You know what I'm saying? But I think I read somewhere.
Silly for who?
For me, clearly not for him. Exactly.
But you missed the most important part. Is you with him?
Yeah, agreed.
You're saying yeah, like duh. That's everybody does it. That's the other piece.
True.
I think when people are facing happiness in their children, they know that they haven't been a happy space for their children.
I see what you're saying.
There's an intentionality that you three create when it comes to your children.
Right. So when you
how excited Prentice was when he was checking in, like, yo,
yeah,
you'd have thought he was on the field.
When you asked that question, but I immediately thought of just like we just have, you know, the typical wrestling game with the boys. But like when we chilling and I'm laying down, like they really have like the best time when they all like pig pile on their father.
Bro, I gotta ask both you and Prentice this. So Chase is in the stage now where he's learning like what his nuts are and all of that. So like, for instance, probably like 6 months ago, I'm peeing, he walks in. He's like, my family juice is way bigger than yours. And I'm like,
way bigger than yours. It was cold that night.
Like, what are we talking about right now? Like, he just said it so nonchalantly. Anyway, his new thing now is he likes to like watch his tablet with his hands in his pants. So, and then he likes to take them out and put his hand on you. Like, that's his new thing. And he'll put his hand on his mom. He's like, Mom, I was just touching my nuts. Like, like that's the conversation. He's such like a little boy. You know what I mean? Just dirty and nasty and like slimy. But to answer your question, Butta, yesterday we were on the couch and I was FaceTiming my mom. He had his hands in his pants, and then he was trying to touch Lorraine, and then we was like, stop. But he still sucks his thumb. He was about to start sucking his thumb with the same hand, and we stopped him. And then you could see it on his face where he was like, "I got to make a life decision. like, like I'm either going to have to give up putting my hands in my pants or give up sucking my thumb." You know what I mean? So he went and washed his hands and everything like that. But that was like a hilarious moment. No monetary value whatsoever, just in the moment, and he was like in bliss. You know what I mean? Just laughing and having a good time. So that's a recent moment yesterday that I can cite where I was like, okay, this kid's happy. No tablets were involved. No, it was just FaceTiming my mom and the three of us on the couch. So that's one of those moments.
For
What
sure.
about you, P? Were you happy as a child?
It's funny because I'm listening to y'all and thinking about it. I was definitely a happy teen. And I was a happy teen because I can think of a bunch of things I was doing as a teen that made me happy, but they were my choice, right? Like I made the choice to have the best friends I had and go out to Great America Amusement Park and talk to girls and go to parties and dances and do forensic speech and debate. That was my choice. I made the choice to DJ as a kid, and they would all come over and we'd listen to music and go vinyl shopping. That was my thing. These are all things I was into
Mm,
that made me happy that I did all the time, but I was choosing to do them. And then when I think about me as a kid, preteen, like Chief, I had fun, but I'm not sure how much choice I had. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know how much of that. And when I think about the traumatic experiences and just my dynamic growing up as a kid, I think I was doing a lot of coping and adjusting depending on the environments I was in. So, I spent most of my time in a Mexican household,
mention that.
and um just being the only black kid and always being the only black kid and always going somewhere and being the only black kid and just feeling different, but an attachment to a family. I was adjusting, learning how to assimilate and kind of blend in. I'm not sure how happy I was, but I had fun. You know what I'm saying? Like I had fun, but as a teen, I was a very happy teen because I was doing shit. And then I reflect on just my life now. My life has consisted of me doing things that made me happy, even if I should not be doing them, or even if you were supposed to be doing something else. Like my life as an adult has 110% been me being selfish about the things I do that make me happy.
Hey man, that's amazing because a lot of adults could spend a lot of time conforming, right,
Mhm.
to those around them and making sure that they're happy and negating themselves.
Mhm.
Um,
I do want to say one more thing though.
yeah.
This is really making me think about how much, if at all, and I don't think I've done this, but I think I've tried to make my kids happy at times, but I don't know if I've ever even planted the seed of getting them to discover what makes them happy.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like
That's that
maybe,
emotional intelligence, though. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I've never thought about it though. I've never thought about the idea of like starting to teach them, like, yo, you got to start figuring out what makes you happy. You know what I mean?
That's a
Like,
dope conversation.
it ain't gonna be always what other people are doing, and there's gonna be times where you may not have an opportunity to do certain things. What makes you happy? What do you enjoy? So I think I'm gonna have to start like thinking about that and planting that seed now. Like even with Shy, like figuring out, yo, what makes you happy, void of anybody else? Because that's the question a
Yeah.
lot of us have to ask
She may
ourselves
not
as
have the
adults.
language yet, but yeah, it's a good
Yeah.
conversation
Well,
starter. Though.
she
You
might
just
though.
you just messed me up.
It comes in little things though, P. Like I remember like when Bubba was that age, like I think the situation at school where like a bunch of kids were like didn't want to play with her, and she was okay with going to her corner by herself and playing with her dollhouse. And she's like, I had a good time, Dad. I was playing by myself because they didn't want to play with me, but she was happy like with that. I don't think we've had like that conversation about go find your own happiness, but Shy can most certainly like, you know, if it ain't going her way, find her peace and her happiness in her own little bubble. And I think
Mhm.
that's But now looking back at it, it's probably a conversation we could have had that might have, curated around finding your own happiness. But she was 5 at the time, so it was really, really young. But nevertheless, like, even at that age, I say that to say just like at that age, they can still like air towards the realm of finding their own happiness, but not really realizing they're doing it. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Buddy, you was about to say something?
No, my poetic brain kicked in, and when you were talking, Prentice, all I heard was, "What's the point in doing a vision board if your vision is bored?"
Oh, the strikes again.
What's the point? Do you get what I'm saying? It's like, if you're already, what would grandmama and them say? "Oh, baby, you bored? That's because you're boring." Right? And it's how you engage the day, and it just like, yo, I wonder why when people don't do when they do vision boards, they can't tap into their happy because it's not, it's not happening because, oh, I'm bored with this, I'm bored with that. Well, if you're bored with everything, right? Where did you learn that? Where did you learn that? Like, I think about all the creativity in me and how much of my survival was designed because I was creative. Oh, you can't do that? Who can't? You must be talking to them. Y'all can't do that. I just passed the message. They said y'all couldn't do that. No, they was talking about us. No, they was definitely talking about y'all because they don't know me.
Right.
That kind of, my rearing taught me that I didn't, the mistake it made is that I didn't need people. Right? Like, I'm good. I can do this by myself. That's a lie. We're interdependent. But when Prentice was talking, I was like, yo, what would happen if you got feedback from your child? And even if they don't have language, are you willing to now learn your child's language inside of a conversation of happy? Are you willing to learn that language, right? Like, this is what makes my child happy, or this is what my child is learning about what brings them. And I would offer what brings them joy as opposed to happy. Because there may be moments where nothing is happening, but there's an opportunity to look around the room and go, you got a mom, you got a dad, you got a house.
Exactly.
You got all these things. And there's a way to rediscover even the toys you already have. Maybe you don't play with those toys anymore. Is there a toy you enjoy? Go back and play with it. As a kid, like, I love like Hot Wheels. Do little boys talk about Hot Wheels the way we used to anymore?
Not
remember the track.
Yeah.
You had to see a commercial with a Hot Wheels track. I haven't seen one in years. That kind of thing. Like, I remember my father was hella abusive, but I loved doing Lionel trains with him. Right? Like, that was a moment like, oh, as long as you do Lionel trains, then, other stuff was in my head. Like, I'm safe here because we can do Lionel trains. But that was the time my father was happy. He really didn't talk to me a lot. He was too busy working on the engine. Right? Like, it was those moments. It's that quality, that QT time that we spend with our children too, that engages bored or not bored. Because you put the right stuff in your 5-year-old and they know that they're invincible. They're already talking about trips out the country.
Don't even get me started with that. Do not even get me started with that. This boy.
Say it. What happened?
It's like, we can't have regular birthday parties no more. It's like he went to Lorraine. Lorraine's father has a timeshare, really nice one, and they took him last summer. So first thing he said is, "Mommy, how many stars is this resort?" And then she looked it up. It happened to be a 5-star resort. Again, this was all happenstance. It's not like she went out and booked a 5-star resort. Her father had this timeshare forever. So now this dude, his birthday's coming up, and he's like, "Daddy, I think we should go to New York for my birthday. I don't want to party. Let's just go to New York. And this time, let's fly this time. Like, I don't want to drive. And when we get there, we gotta have pizza, but like, let's Uber, because that was a lot of walking last time." Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, his mind is just, because he's been exposed to some, well, definitely more things than I had at that age. So now his mind is just different. We obviously huge UConn family. We go to see UConn play Boston College. We get out the car, we're walking, and they're here in Boston. And he's like, "Daddy, when we get to the suite, can we order pizza?" I'm like, "No, buddy, we're not in the suite today, but I have a suite at the UConn game." And he's like, "We're not in the suite?" I'm like, yeah, bro, we in Gen Pop today. Like this is what life normally looks like. You know what I'm saying? But he didn't cry or nothing, but he was very disappointed. But that's because of what we've helped create for him. But that I'm gonna answer the question, and I'm gonna give a statistic, not a statistic, but something I read. It said in terms of your child's happiness, right? It's the he was a therapist. He said it's a doctor, and he said the single most important thing you can do for your child is raise them in a good neighborhood.
Yo,
He said that is the single most important thing you can do for your child is raise them in a great neighborhood. And when I thought about that, I'm like, that's why I said earlier, Chief, your kids, my kids, Prentice kids, they won't learn those survival tactics because they won't be in survival mode. You see what I'm saying? But go ahead, Prentice. Look like you're chopping at the bit to say something.
I am. Listen what I just wrote, but and this was an idea I had in my head. I just wrote walk Anaya into here through the neighborhood. I just wrote it down. And the reason why I just wrote that down because I was just thinking, listen to this conversation about, you know, um, about their happiness. Are we responsible for their happiness? What I'm gonna do this shit on Saturday. I'm gonna do this on Saturday. We go on walks through that neighborhood. We live in a beautiful, beautiful fucking neighborhood. We go walks through here all the time. Families walking around. Shy's brand new school is gonna be done by the fall, so she starts
Oh,
kindergarten
word.
right at the light, right at the light, like new school. I mean, it's incredible over here. I'm gonna walk them through the neighborhood, and I'm gonna point out the nice houses. I'm gonna point out the parks, and I'm gonna point out that they have access to all of this Chipotle. You can see out the damn patio window. I'm gonna point out that you can see all this. You guys go to the movies right there. You walk to Chipotle. You walk to Starbucks. We go through here, and yeah, this shit is nice and you like it, but you have this because of me, because of us, me and Sarai. This is why you have this. We're walking down the street. This is really nice, but and it may make you happy, and it may not, which is the point. So you need to understand what makes you happy. Outside of walking through here, outside of going to Chipotle, outside of being able to go to the movie theater or looking at this nice ass house that our neighbor has or our nice house that we live in, this is cool and all, but this ain't because of you at all. What makes you happy? You know what I mean? And so it was just interesting when you said the neighborhood because I just wrote down walk an eye and tip to the neighborhood because I think that's a good introduction for them being about to be
That-
13 and 14. The concept, you know what I mean? Without having a deep conversation, like look around. Yeah, this shit is all cool, but this ain't got a fucking thing to do with you. We could be living in the hood.
So speaking of which, have you taken them around West Oakland? Where
Not
you
at
and your
this age,
dad and your
bro.
buddy?
Not at this age. No, I haven't. I haven't. I
So
did when they
I
were really young, where they didn't register, but not
and
at this
yeah,
age.
I think that'd be very eye opening.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like very eye opening. So like with Bree, right? Basically, me and Bree grew up together. I'm only 15 years older than her. So, you know, when she got older, we lived in a house. When I bought so when she was 7, we moved into a house. So she's only known houses, you know what I'm saying? But when I tell story, like the other day, I was telling the story about my upbringing, and you could tell like she was so intrigued, you know what I mean? Because I don't talk about a lot of that stuff that I did back in the day for one reason or another. I just don't. But I say all of that because Prentice and Chief, the next iteration of what makes you happy is what I'm going through with Bree right now. So it's crazy as a leader of people and the conversations I find myself in all the time. And now my child is at an age where I should be having those same conversations with her. So it came up through this conversation because the next iteration of happy is what's your purpose?
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the conversation me and Bree had. It's like, what do you mean? That my purpose is to get my bills paid? I'm like, and then what?
Mm.
Right? Like you work in corporate America now. Like your bills are going to be paid. As long as you have a job, your bills are going to be paid. So then what? You know, she's like, well, to pay my car off. Oh, awesome. That's a goal. That's not a purpose. Like, what's your purpose? Like, and then we got into this deep conversation. I could tell she wasn't really ready to have it yet, but it was introduced. So now
Right.
she's like me. So her mind is going. You know what I mean? So we have to revisit that conversation. But that's the next iteration of that. It's like from what makes you happy to what's your purpose, right? Because your purpose has to be greater than you, right? So I
Yeah.
can't be a bill. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like so that's where, you know, earlier I should have had that conversation a lot earlier. I realized she's 28 and I'm like, damn, we haven't had this conversation yet. You know what I mean? But in my defense, I don't know that my true purpose was defined until about 7 years ago, maybe, if I'm being honest. Like my like if I had to sit down, but because I did the work, because somebody introduced it, like, you know, what's your purpose? And you know, anyway, I don't want to take up too much time with that, but that's the next iteration of that. You know what I'm saying?
I'd argue that like I was just reflecting on like early college, like 19, 20 years old, around there. I'd argue that like I'm thinking about it. I got into poetry at 20, heavy at 21, I was hooked. And during that time, my mama was always like, when you gonna get a job? What else you gonna do? What, you know, I left school to go to Europe for 3 months and just travel doing poetry. And people were like, you're fucking crazy. Like, you're dropping out of school to do this. And in my mind, I'm doing the wrong thing. Because everybody's like, yo, this is not what you do. In the early 2000s, you didn't leave school. That was a failure. You know what I'm saying? Like that it's not like it was now. You can't go and just do what the fuck you want to do. So everything I was choosing to do that made me happy, society said was the wrong thing, including my parent being like, "Yo, what the fuck are you doing?" So if parents
Dude,
were really responsible for your happiness, she would have supported this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, so fuck no,
exactly.
parents are responsible for their child's happiness because half of the time, the shit that makes your child happy don't make you fucking happy. And you try to get them to stop doing that shit.
We are assuming that our parents are happy.
Dude, that's a whole fucking other conversation
I
right
mean, I'm
there,
just
buddy. God damn.
No, that's a great point, Butter.
well.
It
I don't
is.
want
It
Bell.
is.
I mean, I don't want you to go. You should have only because shoulda. You wouldn't have, like you didn't have access to the information until you had access.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
To be
Correct.
fair to
Correct.
you in that way, but to Prentice's point as well, it's really about. I think once you, because I think even having a conversation with her now about her purpose is too big. I believe if you have a post, you have a purpose. We just haven't found it, right?
I can agree with that.
But as long as right now, she's doing the things she's seen her dad do.
Right.
He took care of the business and the whole nine. She understands the football aspect. She understands that part of you, but she's only see you win at being successful in the way in which you've been successful. So she doesn't want to. Now, here's the flip side of happy. I don't want to disappoint my parents.
That's something that we wrestle with for a while because for her it was un solicited pressure that she just put on herself because of this assumed goal I had for her. Like, I don't want to disappoint. Like, listen, like I won, right? Like you won, I won. Like there's nothing you can do as long as you're pursuing what you want that to disappoint me. So we had that conversation, you know what I'm saying? Because
Did that free her up? Did that free her up having that convo?
it did, bro, but that's never gonna go nowhere.
Yeah, they ain't going nowhere.
It ain't going nowhere. Like it's like it's not like she's like, oh, that weight's off my shoulder. I don't have to worry about that. Like that,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like I expressed to her that she's her own person. That's why I don't meddle. Like I guide her when she asks, but I let her try to kind of find her way. And then once she lands on something, that's when I activate versus trying to steer the ship.
So let me ask you this. I know it's semantics in a sense. And I believe from what I know of Sugar, it probably is in fear of disappointing you. But how I toggled the line earlier between the disappointment with my kids and trying to make them happy. Do you think it comes more from a place of where she wants to make you proud versus the fear of disappointing you? I know it's it's a fine line, but I feel like it would lean more towards wanting to make you proud versus that fear of being disappointed.
Honestly, dude, what what's Jadakiss' line? Would you rather be loved or feared? I'd rather be feared because fear lasts longer, and that's exactly what it is. Like, it's still fear. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's still fear. It's not. Is and to go even deeper, it really has. It doesn't have as much to do with me as it does her fear of being like the other parent.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where the real fear lies.
Mm.
It's like, and her therapist even told her, she's like, you know, you can just strive to be more like your dad versus not to be like the other parent.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And that's where her fear lies. It's like she does things to not be like the other parent versus doing things to be closer to how I'm operating.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So yes, it is. It's always going to be fear for her. Or I shouldn't say always, but as it stands right now, it's fear for her.
And I think it's fun. What you all have to consider as parents is that you all set a bar.
Right.
You all three of you set a bar. So, and you didn't know you didn't go, oh, I'm gonna set this bar for my child. You set a bar for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Your child saw that bar and was like, I can reach that, or I might not be able to reach that. And then when you all circle back and go, oh, be your own person, but they're thinking, oh, we have a bar. So you said I can be my own person, but I still got to reach that bar. And some of that is like, hell yeah, you got to reach this bar, and I want you to surpass it. Like I don't think there's anything wrong with setting. I don't want you all apologetic for setting your standard. I love helicopter parents. I wish more parents had propellers, because what happens a lot of times, if you look at those kind of students, those kind of children, they're high achievers. Now they might eventually hire me as a coach because they're in their 40s in the office window going, my parents were on me too tough, but you're the CEO also.
Mm-hmm.
Just to
Right.
put it in context.
Right.
Get it.
Right.
But they also made you the CEO. I'm going to Japan to visit a cousin because her mom locked in and she's an honors. She got a full ride at Howard. Another cousin is at MIT. Another cousin just pledged Delta at LMU. Another cousin. These came from four sisters under my auntie because they're helicopter mamas. And they, well, what do you think I should do with them? Keep like circling your propellers. Are you crazy? Look at who you're raising. And they're solid girls. You know, they do their cousin stuff. I don't want you to. I think the thing about, I think to Michelle Obama's point, and I don't know if she was talking to older parents. I think she was more hinting at younger parents. Like, don't be so caught up in that friend conversation because they
Yeah.
don't have great friends. I think that it's your responsibility to teach. Disappointment will sometimes come with life. Right now, don't be like, there's going to be a lot of no's in their life. So if you want to give them some extra yeses, yes. I don't believe that you can spoil children. I think you can love them real hard, but if you don't set a bar or a standard, then we'll get what that will, you sit milk out too long, it'll spoil.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't do what you need to do to take care of it. It's the same thing with our children. If we don't pull them in and go, hey, let me chill you out for a minute, talk to you about da 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 da. You all do that effortlessly. But I find you all still sometimes coming back and go, can I do it better? Can you be with your wins for a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
Are you willing to be with the wins? Like, y'all have all three of you have beautiful, amazing children. Can you be with the wins that are wins though? Before you rush along to that next age, or look at like, what are three things that you're proud of that your children don't know about or that they know? Real question. I want three of you all to answer it. What are you all proud of when it comes to your children? What makes you happy about them?
Go first, Chief. You've been quiet.
Lately, I've been sitting back and just watching them love on each other. And I think just the cultivation of a sincere brother and sisterhood means a lot to me because they come from two different moms. So just being them, having them together, and like they really like gelling, it's just a beautiful thing to see. And to kind of sit back and it's like, listen, even with the circumstances that you never imagined happening, you got to be proud because you're doing something right. You know what I'm saying? So that's something that's really been like just something to sit back and smile about because I kind of kick myself in the ass a little bit because of the circumstances and how, I have Bubba significantly more. And, so but when they get together, it's still like a beautiful, loving thing. And that's something I'm super, super proud of.
I'm proud that there's absolutely, and I literally mean this, there is nothing I'm proud of about my children that they don't know about. There's nothing. There's nothing. I can tell you exactly right now with Tahir, I am proud of his independence. The way that this boy is navigating, traveling an hour and a half every morning to school, getting on this public BART system, making mistakes. Um, he was supposed to come back home on fucking Sunday. 2 hours went by. I was like, "Why you ain't home?" He done fucking around and went to his mama's house. I was proud of him being able to do that on his own. Let me know, but I'm proud of you, bro. I'm proud of Anaya for being socially kind of a little introverted and making conscious decisions, talking to me about how she's trying to get more acquainted with her volleyball club and not seem so much on the outside. I tell Shy that I'm proud of her bubbly personality and how she can make friends anywhere, regardless of the environment. So they all know what I'm proud of because I tell them all the damn time, like all
That's
the
what's
damn
up.
time.
Yeah, man.
What else you, bro?
I'm proud of I think sometimes I mean I recently just told her this. But I think sometimes I take for granted how independent Bree is. Like to move to a different state, get her own apartment with no real landing. You know what I'm saying? Like no, like obviously she knew what she wanted to do, but she moved down there with a savings account and some work ethic and found herself in a good position, and has built her own ecosystem down there outside of the village that raised her.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the biggest thing for me because if left to her own devices, she would have naturally, like most of us, would have stayed inside that village, but for her willingness to be curious, her willingness to go out on that skinny branch for the hope that there's more out there for her than what she's accustomed to, or what she's known, because she had a very cushy job, worked from home 4 days a week, made an honest living, lived with my mom, didn't really have much of a care in the world, not many bills outside a car note and a cell phone bill and a little bit of rent. So, that's very hard to give up,
Mm-hmm.
because nothing's wrong. And that's what I told her. I'm like, I'm super proud of you because you left at a time when nothing was going wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So when people make these hard pivots, it's because they're running from something or things are just so bad,
Or they
but
have to.
or they have to, right? But by all accounts, things were going pretty well for you. You
Mm-hmm.
graduated college, you got a job, like a stable job, right? Like you can depend on. And so I'm proud of that. I'm proud of her curiosity. I'm proud of her leadership, like that she has in herself. Like this girl didn't cook, like she be cooking every night now, sending me pictures of stuff she be making and all of this. I'm like, this is crazy. But it took her to go out to now become open to some of those things. And for Chase, man, I'm just proud that he has something that I didn't have and that Bree didn't have, the ability to just be five. That's
Mm-hmm.
it. Just be 5 years old. Like just all the great things that come with being a 5 year old, just being that, whereas I had to grow up faster, Bree had to grow up faster, but he is just in his hay. Like, like the life as he knows it is, it's like nothing he would want for. You know what I'm saying? Because he's a kid. And that's why I'm even hesitant to getting him into sports right away, because I'm like, the moment you get him into sports, things change. You know, like now there's more responsibilities where it's like, just be a kid, man. Just be a kid. So those are the things I'm proud of with him.
You know, one thing I was thinking about is that it it's not. I don't believe it is our responsibility. Our child's happiness is our responsibility. But if we're going to have any type of responsibility, it would be to show them what happiness could look like. And the reason why I say that is because I feel like when my kids look at me, when they compare me to their mothers, all of them got different mothers. I'm thinking specifically of the older ones. When they look at me and they look at their mother, I think they think I don't really work too hard and don't do too much. I still think that because I don't have a 9 to 5. I don't clock in every day. I don't complain about work ever because I love everything that I do. I don't think they realize yet, and I think this is going to pay off for me later when they get older. Like you can look at me like that now, that's fine, but you're going to realize later, my pops was living. Like he was happy. What you're seeing is me happy, bro. Like you're seeing me do what I want, be able to pull up to your school. No, I ain't got no 9 to 5. No, I don't complain about work. Why? Because I set myself up so that I don't fucking have to. This is what happiness can look like if you show choose for it to. You know what I mean? And right now they don't understand it, but I think as parents, we can kind of have that in our mind to show them like the happy parts of our lives to let them know what it can look like if it's something they admire or something they want to achieve. You know what I mean? Because my life looks like a life of leisure to my kids. And I'm glad about that because I want them to know you don't have to be like your mom who's always coming home complaining, talking about she's super tired and needs more help and has been doing this and getting this PhD is super, super hard. And my kid is fucking calling me feeling bad, asking if I can do more for her mom because her mom is working 14 hours a day when her mama don't have to work that but chooses to. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, or you could be on this side with me, where it looks like I'm kicking back and doing what the fuck I want, and bills are getting paid, and we living good. You know what I mean? So, I think we got to keep that in mind too. We're not responsible for their happiness, in my opinion, but we
But you're
can,
responsible for your happiness.
right, and showing them and making
Yeah.
it clear because that's what I'm thinking now. I've never told them what they're seeing as me happy. I've always been like, I've never really talked about that. You know what I'm saying? Like I've always kind of battled with it because I'm concerned with the fact that they're comparing me to their moms, and I don't seem to work as hard because I don't have a 9 to 5 and or I don't complain about the work that I do. So maybe I need to start letting them know, like, bro, what you see is me. I'm happy, and
Yeah.
obviously we not struggling. So this could be you. Just keep that in mind. This is an option for your happiness in the future if you choose it.
In
And dad
addition,
is working hard. That's
right,
the other part. Dad is working. Like dad is not just chilling.
No, yeah, yeah.
exactly.
I
Because
just make it look easy.
Yeah.
You know what I
what's
mean? I mean, real shit. I make it look easy,
the
and that's
what
why you don't think I work hard.
the saying is when you're doing something you love, it can look effortless to others.
Hmm.
You know what I'm
And
saying?
and it
So
just
like you're
clicked in
doing
this
something you're passionate
conversation that
about.
that's what they're seeing, man.
You know, I had another thought, but I can't remember what I was about to say. Damn, I was gonna say it was something about what you were saying, Prentice. Another thing too, I think I had this epiphany the other day with Lorraine, and I was just I was like, Chase has never seen us argue.
That's dope.
You know what I'm saying? And you talk about letting them know you're happy. I didn't know what relationships look like without arguments. You know what I
Wow.
mean? Like growing up, like my there was a lot of verbal and physical abuse in the house. So I just I thought that was normal. And don't get me wrong, Lorraine and I, this is 9 years of therapy, you know what I'm saying, to learn how to argue, learn how to have conflict. So as a result, we've never argued in front of Chase. And sometimes when I'm on my point, Prentice, to your point, what you're showing them is happiness,
Hmm.
right? So it doesn't, I mean, say it, but it doesn't even necessarily have to be said because that would just be the the barometer. It's like this is the state. Like this is what. Oh no, this is. I want to be like dad, where I'm carefree, if you will. You know what I mean? I'm doing something I love. The bills are being paid. I'm not stressed out. Like, that's what I want. So my
Mhm.
point, Prentice, is regardless if you say it or you don't say it, it's being observed.
Yeah.
Kids
But
emulate what they see.
how do we make sure they understand that then if we don't say it? You get what I'm saying?
No,
Especially if that's
I'm
not what
not
they're used to
saying.
seeing.
Yeah, I'm not saying don't say it. I'm
Yeah, I'm
saying,
not even arguing.
yeah,
I'm genuinely asking. Like, okay, if I was not to say it, if I wanted them just to understand the concept that hard work doesn't have to look painful.
mm,
You know what I'm saying? Like happiness doesn't have to come with um an end result. And Butter said something earlier that I thought was hella profound. There's a difference between happiness and living in joy. You know what I mean? Like joy is a lot more sustainable than those those moments of happiness. You know, like joy is a state that you can live in versus happy being something that comes and goes.
yeah. I mean, I don't know what the right age is to have that conversation. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? Like, because it's like with Brianna, obviously she has two drastically contrasts of parents.
right.
So like we started having a conversation about money, and I forgot what we were talking about, but basically what I told her, well, it was about emergency fund and stuff like that. And what I told her was, to your point, Prentice, she sees what she sees. Your kids see what they see. How they interpret that is up to them if you're not
Yeah.
saying anything, right?
Right.
So what I told her, we were talking, I sent her a pay stub from, like, I don't know, 2000. We owned our house and she was in high school, so maybe 2012, 2013, something, 2014, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I had, actually, I can tell you exactly when it was 2014, and I had a bad year, and I made like $60,000 that year, and relatively bad. And I sent her that, and I said, "Look, Bree," I said, "you didn't know this in real time, but I'm paying a mortgage on this salary, and I'm paying for private school on the salary. But you had no idea to know that, right? You may think whatever you think. Like, you may think that things come easy. You know what I'm saying? You may think things are abundant. But I told her what I was explaining to her, I was like, no, like, I knew where every dollar of my paycheck was going because I didn't have it to spare.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's like this came in, so this can now go out. And I was like, I remember it was to the dollar because those payments are automatic. So I remember I was very conscious about my paycheck during that time. And then she responds in a text, and she's like, you better than me because I would have went to public school. Like, I wouldn't have been going to private on that income with this mortgage, you know. So, but my point is that was years later that she learned that. So she didn't know that in real time. So she learned it. So it's like, yes, showing, but sometimes showing isn't enough. When you can have that conversation when they're ready, then it can definitely hit home, because that's what it was for her.
I believe if it comes up, like what Chase needs, she didn't need, right?
Right.
I feel like if it's coming up now, now would be the time.
Yeah, I'm not gonna
It's
avoid
going,
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm saying even now, going to the store, hey, you know, Chase, clean up your room. You get this. Like, you can teach that, and then, hey, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna put 5 up for a case of emergency, and this 5 we can go spend,
Hmm.
and then have that, and then you can frame it that way. I don't want you to wait to a particular time. I believe in my heart of hearts, if it's coming up now, there's a conversation that you can have. There's a whole the brother who did Fubu has a book about money for kids.
David, was it David John is his name?
I believe I'm gonna look for it. I'm gonna find
Yeah.
it because it comes with offer. It comes with like a stuffed action figure, but there's a book on money for like kids.
Yeah, I
They
had Bree read Rich Dad Poor Dad for kids back in the day, which helped. But Chief, anything on your mind? I feel like you've been taking a lot of notes, and I want to make sure that you can get them notes off.
No. I'm this is no. I'm good. Nothing really. I'm just listening to the conversation, taking it all in. No real notes. I just lost my thoughts since you spotted me just now. I can't remember. It'll come back to me.
We
It'll come
ain't
back
got
to me.
much time left. We about to wrap up. So
Yeah, we are. Well, maybe I catch it. Maybe I catch it in my final thoughts. But no, I'm good. With that being said, it seems like we coming to a close anyway. We at 1:15, so we'll go ahead and shut it down now. I like to revisit this conversation though, because happiness is a crucial part of all of our. Some people would beg to differ though. So
what do you mean?
This would like in terms of how the importance of where happiness lies in one's life.
I agree, and I agree. Like we talked about that with Ray some time ago when somebody asked him if he's happy.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, I don't know. And yeah, happiness is something that I don't know. It's weird because like I'm happy, right? But I can't I can't stay here. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's like things are good, but I gotta do something to make me uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Like that's just how I operate. Like I gotta do something to make me uncomfortable. And Lorraine always says it. She's like, why do you do things to make yourself poor? Like that's what she says to me. Why do you do things to make yourself poor? And I'm like, cause I gotta feel like I ain't make it. So I gotta keep going. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, but
yeah, but I think that might be something we need to dive into too. Because when you say I'm happy, but I can't stay here, there's a lot to that.
yeah, but not really. Like I'm very self-aware. Like I know exactly where that comes from, why that is. We can talk as much as you want about it, but it's not like I'm not happy and I'm sad. That's not what it is. It's just like I'm not happy because I'm eager. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the replacement. It's not like, man, woe was me. Nah, never that. It's like, oh no, the job isn't done. That's all. Like I told you, man. Like complacency is the cousin of death, as far as I'm concerned. And I feel like we all got our quirks. Like we all got our quirks. And you, Chief, you load yourself up with a lot of work that it does not seem feasible, but you get it done, and that's your quirk, right? It's like I'm just going to load up. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to load up. Prentice's quirk is when he's feeling like he needs to make some shit happen, he gets super active on social media, right? Like he get going, like, and because it's like whether he's feeling like I'm broke or he's feeling like I can't get too comfortable, like we all got our quirks, man. And me, if I get a chunk of money, that shit is gone because I can't have it sitting around, because now I feel like, oh, you think you made it, huh? You know what I'm saying? I was like, nah, nigga, like you gotta go. You know what I'm saying? It's people depending on you. You gotta go. So the last thing I'll ever want to be in a position where, like, I don't have the ability to earn, and I don't have enough to live.
Oof. Sorry.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, as long as I got the ability to earn, I'm gonna earn, bro. And I'm gonna do it in a manner that gets the most out of me, regardless of how other people feel about it, including Lorraine, because she'll thank me later. Right? Just like you, Chief, when you load up on all this work and I'm looking at you like, just don't die. You know what I'm saying? But it makes sense to you. You know what I'm saying? So it don't have to make sense to me, but because it makes sense to you, and it's part of the goal or whatever you're trying to get accomplished. So it's like, what am I supposed to say? Because I get it. You know what I mean?
It's a lot in there. It's a lot in there. So let's walk through. Let's walk right into these final thoughts. LT, let's let you go first, player.
You muted.
I was just loving that last conversation actually. I thoroughly believe that happiness is a byproduct of something, but I believe that joy is something that's inside of us, and we can income, outcome, but we'll miss become. It's who we're being, and joy is a way of being. It's a come from as opposed to an arrive to. And so, I, for a large part of my life, have not been happy, but I've had so much joy because I've been intentional about no matter what the situation is, I'm going to always have joy. So I would encourage you to like step into your power of choice. Everything we are is a choice, everything we do is a choice, even choosing not to choose is a choice. So if you're not choosing joy, then you're choosing the alternative. So I just want to encourage you to keep choosing yourself.
P.
I can either focus on giving my kids, I mean, this is myself included, giving my kids moments of this quote unquote happiness, which is something that I can't even fucking control, something that can be taken at a heartbeat, something that is not going to be permanent and temporary. Or I can try to teach them how to live in gratitude. And when you live in gratitude, joy and happiness kind of come as a byproduct. You know what I mean? So you'll understand while living in gratitude, because I understand it now that I do, that when happiness is here, it's here. And when it's not, gratitude is still there. And in a way, happiness is still fucking there. You know what I mean? Like you're not depressed because you live in gratitude. You find things to be grateful for and appreciative of on a daily basis. So everything else is kind of like on top, like, you know, the cherry on top. So I would say try to learn how to live in gratitude. Find the daily things that you can appreciate, which will create more joy and more consistent happiness in your life when it's not there during the moments you would necessarily, you know, like it to be at a certain level.
That's dope. I think what's sticking with me is finding your own happiness and being intentional about it too. Waking up in the morning with the mindset of, I really am destined or designing to be happy today and smile with all your teeth.
Hmm.
I think that that really puts like that really changes the game for me sometime. Like I was told when you want to smile for pictures, smile like it's the funniest thing someone ever said to you. And your smile looks amazing in the photo. But when you intentionally smile, you almost have no choice but to err on the realm of happiness.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And another thing would be to just be mindful to live. If you can find yourself living in that happy space, even though it is, I believe it is an important conversation to have with your kids emulate what they see.
Mm.
And when they see you smiling and happy, when they see their parents not arguing, that's something that they learn and it'll carry with them.
Mm.
So when we close this with hugging a black man, smile at one too, because smiles are contagious.
Mine is simple, man. This is a good conversation, and like I said, when I initially wrote this, it had nothing to do with the Michelle Obama clip until I saw the clip, and then it had everything to do with it. But what I'll say is, if you're going to be worried about somebody's happiness, be worried about yours. You know, because you can't create happiness in others if you haven't created it in yourself.
Mm.
Happiness is an inside job. So I would that's it. Start there. All right. Start there. Start to however you define happy, strive for that. Right. And then it's funny because if you're ever around somebody like who's happy, it's infectious,
Hmm.
or they won't be around you. And then that they're doing their bid, your bidding for they are doing your bidding for you because that will tell you a lot. Right. So start with yourself. And whatever that looks like for your kids, do that, right? Whatever that means. But like I said, most importantly, start with yourself. Make sure you're happy and where you want to be, or minimum going towards what you want to go towards. And then you can then translate that or transfer that into others. So start with yourself.
That's what's up. So you're gonna take nephew on that airplane trip to New York and Uber to the pizza restaurant?
Hell no.
He'd be all right.
Yeah, we're going to a trampoline park with a Spider-Man theme. Like,
It'd be all right. Word. Yo, it's been a dope conversation, man. We created this platform to have a safe space for Black men to openly engage in conversations around their mental health. And we've been doing this for 150 episodes. We in here. And we're gonna keep this train rolling, and we just hoping that you are getting the gems that we are getting and continuing to evolve and expand and build up your mental health to push yourself in a state, push yourself to the point of being happy. You dig? So we'll do that. Hit us up, y'all. We can be found on all social media platforms at All Black Men Need Therapy. You can hit us up on the email, allblackmenneedtherapy@gmail.com. We also have a phone line, 860-410-6160, 860-410-6160. Shoot us a text, give us a call, have a conversation with us, shoot us a text. We'll respond, all of the above. Per usual, y'all, we can close it how we always do. Do us all a favor and hug a Black man today.
Do it.
And tomorrow.
Please.
Do it.
We out, y'all.
peace.